You've been trying to figure out, why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? And please do not try to play God in somebody else's life and answer that. Well, God is just using this to test your faith. Shut up and pass your own test and keep your eyes on your own Scantron number 2 pencil. But here, by the Spirit of the Lord, there's a revelation given. And maybe, I can't tell you the reason you're going through what you're going through, but maybe God will show it to you in these moments together today. It says the reason God brought them to the Red Sea was there were some things that if they were not drowned before they went across, they would be defeated when they got there. It says that they left Egypt ready for battle. Show them that verse, 18. They went up from Egypt ready. Everybody say ready. Ready. Say it again, ready. That's what a green light means. You can go now. You're ready now. And sometimes we think it's ready, and God gives you a red light instead of a ready light. And you're like, God, I'm ready. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for something better. I'm ready for more. I'm ready. God, I want more influence. Are you ready for more responsibility? Really ready? Are you ready to be the one who has to put up with all the crap as you're praying about a bigger income? Because that's what happens. Only God knows when we're really ready. They were ready for battle, dressed for it, but not ready for it. Dressed for it, but not ready for it. God said if they face the Philistines right now, they'll get killed. And he was proven correct. Guess what? God was right. When they saw the Canaanites, when they finally got in the promised land after they crossed through the Red Sea, they wouldn't fight. They weren't ready. They were dressed like they were ready. They were looking like they were ready. They were posting that they were ready. They were hashtagging like they were ready, but they weren't really ready. Only God knows when you're really ready. Y'all know how y'all shouted over the green light at the Red Sea? I wonder would you shout, put up the other one. I wonder would you shout over this one. Show me how excited this is to you. Woo! Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Bring it on. I want my harvest. I want my blessing. I want my Boaz. I'm a deep Christian. I read Ruth. But if you ever ask God for a king and then you got Saul, you will start shouting over here. I know it's not natural, but do it real quick. You will start shouting over here. For when God says, I'm not taking the thorn away, I'm leaving it to keep you grounded. I'm not moving the Red Sea, I'm moving you through it. And I'm sending the Egyptians to make sure that you keep moving, because I know you'll go back if I don't do it. Lord, when they listen to this message, please help them not to pervert the spirit of what I'm saying, because some of them will say that God is telling them they have a green light to walk away from something you called them to. And I don't want them to abuse my message and compare things to Egypt that are really the things that you've called them to stick out. So please, Lord, help that message not to be misinterpreted. In Jesus' name, amen. Now that I got that out of the way, you have to thank God for this. What does this mean? Y'all must have had a South Carolina driver's test. I said, what does this mean? The most basic thing in the world. And then let's don't even talk about. What does that mean? Yeah, speed up. I know how you are. I see you driving around. But take it down, take it down. This is not driver's ed class. This is church meeting. So, how many of you have your driver's license? Right. So you did it. You didn't shout when I asked that. You didn't dance. You didn't shake a tambourine. Remember how big it was when you did it? Remember when you were excited about that, Olivia, and you were shouting and singing about your driver's license, and it was a big deal? And see, remember, I only can preach of what I live. And so having a kid who just got the driver's license, we started telling all the old stories. We went around the table, had some family over Labor Day, and everybody saying, but when I got my driver's license, and when I got mine, and this is the rules when I got mine, this is the first wreck I got into, and this is the mailbox I crushed, and this is how I almost died. Oh, isn't that funny? And Holly has this awful story about how when her older sister got her driver's license, they drove and they thought that the traffic lights were facing the wrong way in Miami, Florida, because they had just had their contacts, or what was it, your eye, you went to the eye, dilated. And so she's driving and she goes, these traffic lights are going the wrong way. No, you are. They're driving the wrong way. It's the traffic lights' fault. You'll notice how we want to blame stuff like, oh God, where are you? Where are you? He told you, put the things back up. He told you, put them up. He told you, but you ran it. You ran it. So, when it came my turn to tell my driver's license story, mine's pretty funny because I didn't even want to get my driver's license. I was scared to get it. My dad comes home one day from lunch. He had a barbershop. He came home from lunch. He goes, come on, we're going to get your driver's license. We're going to take the test. And we got in his Jimmy. And y'all remember the Jimmy? We got in his Jimmy. And when the woman came out, when I came to back out of the parking lot, the car cut off. She's sitting next to me, and she said, you have 2 more attempts to start your engine. After that, this test will be terminated. And sure enough, I put it in reverse again. It cuts off 3 times. 3 strikes, you're out. She says, this test is over. We will now go back into the office. My dad, now you gotta think this is low country South Carolina, 173-degree heat in the middle of July. My dad's a big dude. He's running across the parking lot like the father running to the prodigal, you know what I'm saying? And he goes, you have to know my dad, he's in heaven now, but you have to really know him to get this story, how funny it is. He goes, ma'am, he's short on breath. The whole thing is very dramatic. He goes, ma'am, I'm so sorry. It's not his fault. I didn't prepare him. I didn't tell him. This old car, ma'am, when you put it in reverse with the air conditioning on, it cuts off. You have to cut off the air conditioning to make. How many of y'all had some cars before? How many of y'all first car wasn't a BMW? How many of y'all first car wasn't a G-Wagon? I preached to some swanky people, but this car, he said, I didn't tell him, you got to turn the air conditioning off before you back it up or it cuts off. Please, ma'am, please don't fail him. It's my fault, ma'am. It's my fault. He's on the cross like Jesus, atoning for my sins. It's my fault. I didn't tell him how to back up. Because every time I put it in reverse, it didn't work. And she said, I'll give you one more chance. And when I turned off the air conditioning, the Red Sea party, I cruised through Highway 17A. I parallel parked the Jimmy. I pulled it back in the parking lot, and I got my license. Come on, it was exciting at the time. It was big at the time. It was huge at the time. But it didn't work every time I put it in reverse. I almost didn't get out of the parking lot to take my test. I almost failed the test in the parking lot because I put the car in reverse. When God brought his people out of Egypt, he was bringing them into freedom, and he was getting his glory for himself. But the first thing they did, I want to show you this in Exodus 14 now. Now you're ready for Exodus 14. As Pharaoh approached, verse 10, the Israelites looked up, and there were the Egyptians. What do the Egyptians represent? Something more powerful than them. It represents their past, and really it represents their way of life, all that they've known. It also represents the provision that they've grown accustomed to receiving. But now, what they used to depend on is chasing them. All they can see in front of them is a Red Sea. Remember I told you, this is not a creek. You can't doggy paddle through this. And Let me be clear. Some of you are there right now. The Red Sea can represent anything. I know some people think that the Bible is mainly a history book. I don't think that. I think that the Bible uses history to teach theology. And so it uses the example of a body of water to get me to think about things in my life that I'm looking at going, I don't see how. I just really don't see how. I was excited. I was dressed for battle. I had my Under Armour on. I got my gym membership. I was ready. I had my Bible reading plan. I was ready. I was gonna do it. This was gonna be a new year, a new me, all that stuff. I thought I was ready. I was ready for the promised land, but I was not ready for this Red Sea. I was not ready. I thought I was. I talked to somebody the other day, they were like, growing old is not for wimps. I just didn't know. I thought I was ready to age gracefully. I always said, I won't be this kind of person. I won't be that kind of person. I thought I was ready. And I was ready in a sense, but I wasn't ready for this barrier. I wasn't ready for this test. And the first thing that you do when you come up on something that you were not ready for, not ready at all, no training, no expertise, no swimming classes, no boat, no floats, no vehicle to get you across. And God said you've been feeling that way lately. I don't know who you are. I don't care if it's 3 of you or 30,000. But God said you're standing in front of it right now, and it's what stands between you and freedom. It's what stands between you and freedom. And God's gonna get his glory as you go through.